You're good to go, Vinny.
Okay, perfect. Hi everyone. I just put, I think, the link for the Ignite one in there. So if you don't have it, I think that's right. Amazon, build your business. Yeah. So it's another link right there. All right, let me share my screen. Oh, it's still disabled there, Robert.
Yeah, I'm trying to give you co-host. Hold on. Sorry.
Oh, this is really amateur hour, huh?
Totally.
Sorry, everyone.
You should be good to go.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, it works. All right. So has anybody taken this class before or taken Ignite in general before? No? Madison, you've taken it before, right? Ignite?
No, I had joined on at the end of an Ignite. So I think I did like 10 through 12.
Okay. Cal?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, I think you did the class last time.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Ada?
No, I haven't taken this class before.
Okay. Then Margie, I think this is your first class. All right. So what did you guys take away from your class on Tuesday? Any nuggets?
I don't need to be an expert, just a professional.
What was it again? Sorry, Bernardo?
I don't need to be an expert, just a professional.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Anything else? Anyone else? No? I bet there's a lot of nuggets. Who taught that class?
Clarissa.
Oh, Clarissa. Okay. All right, perfect, guys. So I'm going to share my screen. And we'll get into this. And if you guys have any questions throughout the process, feel free to jump in and ask this. I try to make this as interactive as possible. So building your business, I'm assuming, I think on the first one on Tuesday, Clarissa laid the groundwork of what you should be doing after each class, correct? No? Maybe so? Thumbs up, thumbs down, don't care?
I didn't quite understand.
No, okay. So there's the groundwork of what you should be doing after each platform is, of course, writing notes, adding people to your database, sending out letters to your database, or following up with people that you converse with. So are you guys, any of you guys currently adding people to your database? Anyone sending out cards? What kind of stuff are we doing so far? Is this early stages? Haven't even prospected yet? We got doing one of those. Bernardo?
I'm not working right now in referral, but yes, I'm building a database.
Okay.
Some people I know. Am I remembering? Is it 10-10-4?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for bold class, they do 20 contacts, and how they define a contact really varies from coach to coach. But a contact is someone that you've asked for real estate, if they have any real estate needs in the near future. What about you, Madison? Are you reaching out, adding people to your database, sending letters? Where are we at?
I'm adding people to my database, and I've been cold calling in the mornings.
Okay, nice. What about you, Cal?
Yeah. Recent, of course, I moved from out of state. So basically just still letting people know, touching them. Hey, I'm in real estate. You have any needs, let me know. I'm thinking a lot of my business probably this year is probably going to come from like referral based. Probably going to have to refer them out. But sending that, I've been emailing Broker Bob, letting them take a look at my designs, campaigns, things of that nature, and sending those cards out.
Okay. So you mean by referral, are you talking about where you move from, people that are looking to buy in those areas?
Yeah, I mean, the majority of people I know, as far as my sphere, is in Texas. So uh, just that constant reminder of letting them know, hey, I'm in real estate. Because basically, what I'm kind of getting is, oh, I forgot you moved to California. I just moved to Colorado, and I'm like, dang. So just getting into the habit of basically make sure I touch them more.
Makes sense. And what about you, Margie? Wow, that's a lot. Well, oh, there you go. Margie?
Yeah, I had some issues with the with the computer.
Okay.
Well, I was doing cold calling, and I barely just started a couple of days ago, reaching people out through Facebook, like
Okay.
DM. Yeah, so I'll see how that's gonna go.
Okay. What about you, Melissa? You're there.
Hi. Sorry, I was switching from my phone to the computer because my computer wasn't acting right. So, are you asking what we're doing after the last meeting?
Yeah, I mean, are you taking the initiative to do your contacts, to send letters out?
I just got all my contacts uploaded into Command since I'm still
Okay.
pretty new, and finished my business plan meeting yesterday with Coach K. So after this meeting today, I'm rearing to get started. But yes, I've been telling everyone about what I'm doing and haven't done the cold calls yet, but that's coming up.
Okay, perfect. Well, so I think some of you guys probably know my story and others don't. So I'll just give you kind of feedback on myself before we kind of get going to it. I used to be in the construction field, been in real estate for be 9 years now, I guess, in July. It's crazy, but yeah. But I was in construction for about 6 years, I believe, beforehand. Was gone in Afghanistan for a year, came back to San Diego, and jumped directly into real estate with Keller Williams. Was afraid to call my database, so all my closes for the first couple of years, pretty much all my closes were cold calls, knocking houses, avenues like that. As a solo agent, for probably the first the first year, it wasn't the greatest. I got a couple closes, but after that, I kind of worked my way up to, consistently getting between 32 to 35 deals a year as a solo agent. And then a couple years back, I looked at the idea of bringing on an admin and a team, got into coaching and things like that. So I've done a lot of the cold calling, even my database. I didn't even have a database for the first couple of years. I didn't have anyone on drip campaigns. I just had really basic, anyone to follow up with people, and I did it. So a lot of the stuff, especially with you guys getting going now, it's fantastic because you can actually put together systems in place. So as you're adding people to the database, they're constantly getting touched. I mean, that's one of the worst feelings, and I'll tell you from experience, is you add someone to the database, you forget about them because you don't have any kind of campaign, and next thing you know, you finally call them out of the blue and you find out they already bought a house already or they sold the property, right? So right now, as you're building out your platform, getting ready to add people to your database, make sure you have your systems in place, and especially with Command, make sure you have a breakdown of who it is. Like if it's a circle prospect lead, if it's a future buyer lead, if it's a current buyer lead, if it's a future seller lead, a current seller lead, however you want to define each of the contacts you're going to come through, make sure that there's a campaign ready to be had. And one thing I can't stress enough, and something I get that I talk to my team and people I coach about, is to make sure anyone you have in your system, right, that you have a future follow-up date for them. Doesn't matter who it is. If they're in your system, they should be on a drip campaign, or there should be a future follow-up for that person. Okay, I'm telling you, one of the worst feelings is when you call them up and you find out they listed or sold with someone else. Right. So right now, as you're starting, the best avenue. Now, Yeah, so as I started building a team, I started getting into more social media. I have a podcast. I actually have 2 podcasts now, and I do stuff online. Kind of a little bit of what I've done in the past. So I've tried a lot of different avenues. Some have had good success. Some haven't had that great success. And still working on it, still growing, still adapting. So if you have any questions about a prospecting activity, I mean, feel free to reach out. I've probably done it, or at least know someone that's done it. So I can give you feedback on something like that. Okay. All right. So you're adding people. We already kind of talked about adding people to your contacts, note cards, activate well, it's command. So this is an old slide, but it's a command now. And then brand your KW app. Does everyone have their KW app? Has anyone looked into that? Yes. Yeah.
You said KW app?
Yes. Yeah. Now, so if you go to KW command, let me see if I can pull it up fast. It's a really non-intrusive way to get someone's information. One second. Do you have a coach, Bernardo? Yeah. Yeah, it might be easier. Just reach out to your coach, and they can send you a video or show you how to walk you through of how to get your KW app. It's really simple. It's like it might take me a second to pull it up. Okay.
No worries.
Now, KW tracker. So this must be a new platform. Did Clarissa walk you through this slide?
No.
Fantastic. I'm guessing there must be some kind of slide for this. Yeah.
And we're looking at Power Session 3 today. Is that right?
Power Session 2. Build your business. Wait, is this right? Build your business. Yeah. Power Session 2.
Am I the only one that thought otherwise?
No, she said today we were gonna do 3, and then next Monday we do 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bob said that at the beginning of this call too.
Yeah, there's a difference in a coaching session and then build your business. So this is build your business.
I think because the slides are kind of, at least I have mine open
Yeah.
for the book, for Ignite Power Session 3. And I'm having trouble following along where you are.
Okay, so yeah, it's Ignite 2, find your business. So go to session 2. So there's a coaching session. So how each Ignite class goes, there's an Ignite class, and then there's a coaching session, and then another Ignite class. So
Okay.
the coaching session is more of kind of going over what you found out in the class before that.
So is
So
this find your business, or is this build your business?
Build your business.
Okay.
Right.
Find your business. Sorry, no, find your business. Sorry,
Find your business? Okay, because I have that manual open.
So we are on Power
Okay,
Session.
okay. Let me go back. Give me a second. This is that yesterday I might have turned this up. Okay, maybe I was viewing the wrong slide. Let me see. It's slightly a lot because I've never done this slide. Hold on a second. Let me check. All right. Let's try this again. Okay. We good now?
Yes.
All right. All right. So this, the 10-10-10. We'll jump past this one. So handwritten notes. I mean, everyone's here said that they're doing contacts, reaching out to people. How many people are actually writing any note cards, letters to people? No?
Yeah.
Okay. An easy platform, if you have the ability to do it, Send Out Cards is a platform that you can use. They have a flat fee, a monthly basis, and send out as many cards as you want on a monthly basis. So if you want kind of technology with the Send Out card, I mean, with the letters, that could be right there.
And where did you say, can you repeat that, where this is done on a monthly basis? Is this?
Yes,
self-command?
Send Out Cards. I'll pull out that Send Out Cards. Where's the chat button? Oh, sorry. Let me get All right, put in the chat box.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so take a look there, Send Out Cards. It's a platform I probably don't use enough, but it's fairly easy to get a lot of cards out to people. All right, so prospecting as a realtor is your #1 job. All right, you should be doing that on a consistent basis. There's some really smart people that I've seen in business that are not in the business anymore because they were afraid to ask for the business. All right, so asking for the business, knowing your value is definitely is huge. All right, that's your #1 job. Now, once you get the leads, right, set the appointments, agreements, and then go to contracts, and then close. Right, it's a funnel. I mean, the more you put in, especially in this, I mean, what's going on right now, it gives the ability for more excuses to be had. Right, so prospecting, whatever avenue is, if it's cold calling, if it's social media reach outs, whatever platform you're kind of going through. Capture, connect, close, cultivate. Going back, I mean, they have it here for the cultivate, going to that app, the KW app, right? Again, it gives them the ability to search on your platform. There has been bugs that are kind of put through that, yet a lot of those bugs seem like they've been more resolved. So something to just get them around your moat, right? So you want to build a moat around any lead that you get. Does everyone understand what I mean by that?
Yes.
Yes. Alyssa, no. So you got to think, right? I'm pretty sure everyone here has seen the stat that Ashley put up. She puts it up every couple of months. Talks about how many realtors we have in San Diego County compared to who's actually sold the property. So if you sold, I think it's 3 properties, you're in like kind of like the top 15%, 10% of all realtors. I think it's 1 property in the top 20% of all realtors. Right, so that means 80% of people out there haven't sold a property. Right, so that means that a lot of people have a relative, cousin, brother, sister, friend that they come across that is a realtor. Right, so what happens, right? Like, let's say hypothetically, you have someone that's looking to purchase property, right? And you haven't, once you find out that they're looking to buy a property, you haven't shown your value to them, right? Set them up with the lender, haven't walked into the process, actively looking for them. There's always going to be another person that's going to come around, or someone else is going to say, hey, are they not working out for you? I have a realtor friend, or I have a buddy that I can get you in contact with. So building a moat around that person, be it a buyer or a seller, is going to kind of almost protect you, right? So you have someone else in your ear saying, hey, you should keep working with Melissa, or you should keep working with Bernard, or you can keep working with whoever it might be, right? So by building a moat, if they're looking to buy, get them in contact with a lender that you feel comfortable with, that you refer that out to them, right? And so now they're going over the numbers with them also, right? If they're looking for credit repair, right? Find a credit repair person or something like that you know that you feel comfortable with, that you can send them business to, and start building that motor around them. The longer out they 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever it might be, right? There's still a lead. It's just a matter of that's a longer period of time that someone else might get in front of you, or multiple people might get in front of them. Make sense? Yeah. So cultivating it, bringing value to them, finding ways, any lead that you're working with, you can bring value to them, right? So especially, well, Madison, you're saying that you're cold calling, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. What kind of leads are you going after?
Expireds, and I want to start doing more FISBOs.
Okay. So let's say with the FISBOs, right?
Mhm.
You're calling them up. What's the next step? What kind of value are you adding to them?
I guess getting them, like asking them what kind of action they're having. Are they hearing mostly from agents or buyers? I haven't really gotten into it yet, but I just got a script, so I was gonna start working on it.
It's so even if you're asking and you're talking to them, right? You might be the
Right.
value of being a shoulder to talk to, being a voice to bounce ideas off of, right? I mean, other values that people add to the for sale by owner is, oh, well, I can bring in an investor offer to you, right? So I'm bringing some kind of value of to see what someone's truly going to offer on your property, or a value of, hey, I can the leads that are coming there and the looky-loos that are coming there, I can weed those out for you, right? So every time you're talking to them, right, you're trying to bring some sort of value to them, right? And you're
Mhm.
showing, the main goal is to really show them that the value that them listing with you, and that you basically get into a higher price. It's a value. So sometimes the value add that you're offering is not necessarily going to be an add value that you're going to be getting paid for, right? Yet the goal is to get the value of, I'm going to list your property, I'm going to be your agent to help you buy this property, and then you get paid off of it. Does that make sense to everyone? Yes. So when you're cultivating these leads, keep finding ways to offer some sort of value to that person. Give you an example. There's a book that I read it a couple times. It's and I butchered the name, but he sold the most cars by the Guinness Book of World Records in like the 80s, right? And his whole what he did for his prospect, he did a lot of other stuff, but one of his big things he did for prospecting is he'd go into the Yellow Pages, right? And he'd find the person's name. Let's say it's John Smith, right? He'd call that lead, and he goes, "Hi, is Mr. Smith available?" And they'd say, "Yeah, it's this one." Oh, okay, perfect. Mr. Smith, your Chevy Cruze, I don't know, is ready to get picked up. And they go, "Well, what are you talking about? I'm not expecting a car to be picked up." "Oh, this is not Bill Smith?" No, this is John Smith." "Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Well, now that I have you on the call, what kind of car do you drive? Then you get the information for it. When are you looking to get a new car, get an upgrade, get all their information. You'd find out when they're looking to buy. He'd build a note card, put a Rolodex, and every day he'd have someone that expressed interest to him previously in the past of buying a new car. So he was doing kind of cold calling before we had Mojo Dialers and all these other platforms. So every day, if you're cultivating your leads, if you put them on drip campaign, if you're following up with them, if you're offering some kind of value to them, you're going to slowly have leads every day and not have to do quote unquote cold calls. They're going to be warmer calls. That make sense? Yes? Okay. Now, the easiest source of business is going to be sphere of influence. All the people who know you, trust you, and may do business with you. All right. Now, I have some people that talk about cold calling, Facebook. Has everyone here reached out to their immediate family, people they've talked to pretty consistently, their sphere of influence? Have they already notified them? Yes.
Yeah, in my case, I only got the license because people in my sphere of influence were needing the help.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, everyone else. Okay, so no one's afraid of talking to their sphere, right? Okay. All right, perfect. Um, now, even with your sphere, I mean, you want to keep reminding them that you're in real estate. Don't be, I mean, overbearing about it. I mean, posting stuff on like Facebook and Instagram, social media. There's a balancing act of who you are and what you do, and start understanding what that balancing act is for your post out there, right? I know there's people on my feed that all they post is real estate stuff, and over time, I either unfollow them. Rarely do I unfriend them, but I usually unfollow them or stop seeing their stuff. And so there's going to be that barrier for your own people in your circle, that you want to just have that balancing act of who you are and what you do. Does that make sense? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, has everyone put their sphere of influence in KW Command, in their CRM? No? Okay. That's some people, not everyone. All right. Now, people to think about too, there's a thing that Diana Kokoska did. Who Diana Kokoska is by chance? No? All right. So she's one of like the original, I guess, founders of KW, but she built out Bold. It's one of the classes offered as one of the classes. She did a really strong real estate business. Now, what she would do to all her new hires is have them build out a sphere list from A to Z and put down 100 contacts that they have, right, on a list. And that would start out that person's Rolodex. So you can do it through your plumber, your electrician, anyone that you might have worked with in the past. Build that list out. And if you're not sure of, okay, well, should I add them? If you talk to them, if they're in your, if you used their product before, put them in your CRM, because you're more than likely, especially if you're contacting a lot of people and you're trying to bring value to these people, you're more than likely going to send business to them in the future. So ideally, if you're sending business to them, what are you going to want in return? Any guesses?
Referral.
Exactly, right? So make sure they're in your system. Make sure you're asking them for the business. There's, I mean, there's someone in our office, and that a lot of their business is referral based from agent to agent. And from what I can see from the outside looking in, right, is anytime someone asks for another realtor in another area, what they do is go, hey, I have a great referral partner in that area, right? Just tell them that I sent you. Now, if they got a referral, who are they sending it to? Are they sending it to you or sending it to them? They're sending it to them, right? So that's what you can do, the same kind of strategies. Build your Rolodex of people, be it referral partners, be it basically vendors, be it whoever it might be, right? And when someone asks, right, hey, I need this kind of person, refer it out to them. Tell them this is a good person. Now be careful, make sure that person you're referring out is actually a quality vendor, quality agent, quality person, because that's going to come back on you. That make sense? Yes.
What kind of people do you think a client might be requesting other than language need?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a, let's say, a seller, I mean, maybe a plumber, electrician, roofer, handyman. I mean, those are probably gonna be the top ones off the top of my head. For probably a buyer, you're probably talking about a financial advisor. You're talking about the same kind of things during the process. I mean, stuff to do with the property. Lender, of course. So I mean, it could be a variety of different platforms. Just finding out what they're needing to get to where they need to get to, right, onto their goal of buying a property. And then ideally, once they buy the property, you're going to want to stay in contact with them afterwards. And there's also going to be agents in the office that are going to ask for referrals for different people, and refer them out, and then just ask, relay that to your partner. Hey, I hope you got that referral from blah blah blah. I'll keep my ears open for anyone else. By chance, if you heard anyone that's looking to sell or buy in the near future, right? There's so many ways. I'm telling you, there's so many ways to skin the cat. There's so many ways to get business. It's a matter of what you're going to do consistently over time. Let me pull this video up and watch this real fast. Hi, my name is Dylan Devanche. I'm Sean Devanche. Can you guys hear that?
Barely.
Can you guys hear this?
Very faint.
It's real low.
It is real low. I'll just put it into the, you guys can watch it later. I'll send you the link. Okay. So basically the gist of that video is them talking about time blocking, prospecting, and they circle prospect. That's their source of business, and they just pick an area and just sort of prospect that area, and to time block consistently over time. Prospect now is what more posting to social media. So does everyone here go to Steven's script practice class or Carl's? Yeah. Does anyone do the off market Mondays that he talks about? No. So upcoming properties, right, that might be coming up in our office, right? You can post not the address, but maybe information about the property, and just say off market Mondays. Who's looking for blah blah blah, right? And then if people respond to you, then you kind of give them more information about it, right? And then from there, you kind of prospect them, work them for the leads. But being consistent with posting engagement. Now, before you post something on Facebook, you want to try to, I think it's 5 people, comment on 5 people's posts or 5 people's pages. All right, so then your feed goes higher and more interaction on your posts. Yeah. And
isn't there a minimum amount of words you have to put in that comment or post in order to register?
Yeah, I think it's like, I want to say it's like 5 or 10 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, it's 5? Yeah. Yeah, so post it, a little bit longer and engage with it. I started to build out a group. So I have groups on my Facebook page that each day I have a set group of people that I should be commenting on their post. And so I'll click on it. And so I started doing that probably a couple weeks ago, just to put more engagement out there on my stuff. So lead generating, it doesn't sound like that you guys are opposed to lead generation, not afraid of asking for business, right? Anyone afraid of asking for business, picking up the phone, talking to someone? No one? It's okay. You are. Alyssa, I see that smile on your face. Are you afraid?
It's not being afraid. I guess it's just the, I've been licensed for 3.5 years, and I used to do a lot of networking events. And I'm also an event planner and have an events business. And when I would talk to people and they're like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a real estate agent. They're like, oh, like that. So I was like, but I'm an event planner. And they're like, really? What kind of events do you do? That kind of stuff. So my mindset right now is to try to flip that negative that I received when I first got licensed. I wasn't with you guys, so there was a difference then. I didn't
Yeah,
have the training.
turn it upside down. I mean, there can be, you have to think, right? Real estate has probably one of the lower barriers of entry, right? Yet you can make exponentially amount of money, right? You can make a really good return on that, right? If there's such a low barrier of entry for real estate, that means that, and there's a lot of realtors out there, a lot of people probably had some sort of bad experience with a realtor, right? So when you get that, like, oh, you're a realtor, right? You can't take it personally. You just have to be aware that there's a lot of people that probably experience, right? So if, let's say you're a big corporation, right? You're a big corporation and you find out one of your clients had a bad experience with one of your vendors, one of your employees, what would you do? Melissa?
Have customer service reach out to them and try to find out why, basically.
Right? So
Yeah,
when
respond to them with a positive or something. Find out why.
yeah, so coming from curiosity, right? So if they're telling you, oh my gosh, you're a realtor, oh, I mean, make a joke out of it. Oh, what's up with that face? Did you have a bad experience? What happened there? Right? And let them talk a little bit and see what they're saying, and then you can, from there, you're building dialogue, understanding how someone else gave a bad name to your profession, right? Because by you understanding how they gave a bad name to your profession, right? What does that help you to do?
Yes, actually get to know the person a little bit better.
Get to know the
yeah.
person. Also understand how, if you worked with that person, how you could not do the same traps of what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And if they've had some kind of interaction, they probably either bought a property, right, sold a property, or they weren't able to buy and they weren't able to sell, right? 3 of those 4 things, that means that you still have the ability to probably do some kind of real estate business with them in the fairly near future, right? The 3rd one, if they sold, maybe they're moving out of area, or maybe they look to buy down the road, but at least 3 out of the 4 right there, there's probably going to be some level of business for you in the near future. Make sense?
Yep.
Right. So coming from curiosity is going to be huge. Yeah. Anyone else? And not just throwing in the spot. If you feel bad about talking, don't. Yeah. Anyone else feel like kind of afraid or scared or asking for business?
Not afraid. I'll have to admit that I'm not a fan of cold calling.
Okay.
It's, I've done a lot of it. I've been in Carl's Facebook challenge recently, and it seems like for the amount of calls I was making, like 50 a day, which doesn't seem like a lot, it did take quite a bit of time. And I would get, remarks like, well, how did you get my number? Why am I getting all these calls from real estate agents? I was calling expireds. And, I did, to overcome that, I just kind of explained, oh, well, your name appeared on this list and, no worries. I just wanted to see if you were still interested in possibly putting your house on the market. There are buyers looking in your area, but if not, have a great day, but I wasn't sure, spending that much time on the phone, was that really, how is it benefiting my business? I received, I think out of all 6 or 8 weeks that we did it, 1 lead, but it wasn't a strong lead. This lady wanted to list her house with me, then she changed her mind, and then she did again, and now she's changed her mind again. So I know that can't, we can't predict that. I just have to respect her wishes. But I'm just, it just, for me, it just, I guess because I'm new to real estate, I don't know, is that like the only way to really generate business is the cold calls on FSBOs? I've been trying to, put a presence on social media to kind of let my sphere know that this is my new realm, because I just came out of the education field. But I'm also trying to kind of get out in the community and build, relationships with local businesses as well.
So a couple things right there, right? Something you have to think about is that real estate happens, right, when life events happen. Okay, it's the simplest way of looking at it, right? So if someone's having a kid, right, maybe they're looking to now to get a bigger house, or they want to basically a more established area. Getting married, right, or buy a house together. Divorce, right, probably have to sell some kind of real estate, right? Death, have to sell some properties, right? New job, right? So a life events are going to be basically, for the most part, why real estate happens, right? So yes, cold calling is a great avenue. I mean, an avenue that gives you the ability to talk to a variety of different people, right? And it's not the only way to get business. I mean, it's not. There's so many different ways. There's people that do it at a high level in different avenues. But the reason why I think the cold calling is pushed so hard at our office is it can be a quick way to get business. And it gives you the ability to talk to a variety of different people pretty consistently, especially when you're talking to FSBOs, talking to expireds, right? Even though they're talking to a lot of different people, your skill set over time maybe will win out compared to another person, right? Yet, if you went after your own sphere of people, or if you went after your own people that you worked with in the education fields, or you started posting online consistently over time, getting interactions, right? You're going to get business. The thing is, right, there's a difference between branding and a call to action, right? So you can post all day long about beautiful properties, right? You can do that all day long. Yet it's not a true call to action. You might get someone to reach out to you because they see your stuff and they go over it. Yet the call to action, right, is going to be, hey, are you curious what this value of the property is? Are you, do you know what your house would sell for? Things like that, right? And even then, that's not going to directly get everyone there. But when you go at someone like a direct message or calling them, now you're putting them on the spot to say, hey, do you need my help or not? I mean, there's so many times that I've followed up with a past client, right? Where they've told me to go, hey, you know what? I was just about to call you, right? And which it's probably BS, right? For the most part, it's BS, right? They weren't just going to call me, but they said, oh, I'm just going to call you because my friend's looking to buy, or I'm looking for help, or whatever it might be, right? So the branding activities that you're doing is basically going to keep you kind of on top of mind, yet they need that push, right? And so when you're calling the FSBOs, when you're calling the expired, they've already expressed an interest of, hey, I'm ready to do it. Now it's your job to kind of convert them. Yet if you get them right through other platforms before that need pops up, it'll be easier for you. Yet it might take you longer to get there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, don't stress over it if right now cold calling maybe is not your best avenue. You can still do really good in the business by going other avenues. Just figure out what you can do consistently. Try to find someone that's gone through that platform that you've gone through and build it out. All right. Margie, Bernardo, Madison. So you guys are okay with asking for new? Actually, Bernardo, I know you have your most of your sphere of influence. Are you going for new business too, or are you mostly focusing on your database?
I'm not seeking new business right now, only with my database.
Just your database. I got you. Margie, Madison, I know Madison, you already said it, you're doing a lot of your cold calling.
Yeah, I mean, some days I'm like not very motivated to do it, but once I get started, I don't mind it so much. Yeah, I guess I feel like I'm not getting that many leads from it either. So I'm just trying to stay consistent with it. Yeah, so I thought maybe with FISBOs, it would kind of open up the door because, I mean, those people are already like on the market and they want to sell. And they're usually pretty, I find them like easier to talk to.
Yeah, I mean,
That's true.
so with cold calling expireds, and I mean, when I was doing it before I had a team, when I first got into calling, and it was painful, right? I would get like some crazy attacks, right? Where, hey, you should shoot yourself in the head, you should do this kind of stuff, like pretty wild. And it took me a second, probably, I mean, it took me like a month or so where I started building a callus, right, on the calls, right? Like, I don't know if any of you guys boxed before or done boxing or know anything like that. If you kind of punch something over time, right, you start building a callus on your hand, right? And it becomes easier and easier to do it, right? So I was doing it pretty consistently. I mean, I was doing it really consistently, the calling. And then over time, I went on a vacation and I was having withdrawals from prospecting. Like, it was that bad. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, man, I gotta get on the phone. What am I doing? I'm being like lazy. I'm not like, and it was just like, I was a junkie to make phone calls, because each call you make is a new opportunity to get that deal. I mean, that's the way I looked at it, right? It's like the next person you call, it could be a list me now. It could be a help me now. It could be something, I mean, something really easy. It could be a layup, right? And that's kind of like the idea behind it. And yes, I mean, with the expireds and the FISBOs, right, they're probably getting a lot of calls. Look at it this way, right? There's every script you look at, right? Okay, every script you look at, it's the same kind of idea, right? Some kind of hook to get their attention, right? And then diving deeper, right? Finding out their needs, their goals, all that kind of stuff, right? And then a hook at the end to lock them in for that they're going to work with you, or you can help them out, whatever you're trying to accomplish, right? That's the idea behind every single script. Now, there's going to be different scripts out there, right? But that's the idea behind every single script out there, right? So when you're looking at a script, right, feel free to make it your own. Know the nuggets of that script, but then feel free to make it your own. Like, there was, I think it's Robert Nero, right? What he would do with his scripts is he would look at the script, write basically a sentence, 2 sentences, 3 sentences, and then make a note next to it and write down what he's looking to accomplish in those sentences and in that sentence and that paragraph, whatever it might be, right? And you keep going down the script so he understood what he's trying to accomplish with each part of it, right? So when you're reading your script, if you don't know all the words verbatim, right, you at least know what you're looking to accomplish when you're having that conversation, right? So let's say you're calling it expired. What are scripts that other agents are using? I mean, why did that property not sell? When would you hire the right agent to get that property sold? I mean, understanding the script. So if you change basically the initial hook, so they're not getting the same question, the same conversation over and over, you can make your own, and now you're going to connect with people that maybe you might not have connected with before. Does that make sense? Madison? Yeah. So yeah, understanding that, and then same thing with for sale by owners. All right, for sale by owners, finding, again, goes to that, once you build that rapport with that person, right? Diving deeper with that person, finding what your value add to that person is going to be, right? There is a guy in San Diego, I don't know if he still does it. I didn't really go after FISBOs consistently. I jumped into it for a short window because I had a coach that would have 50 FISBOs pretty consistently in his Rolodex that he was following up with, and he would close 40 FSBOs on a yearly basis. And so he was kind of talking me into going after FSBOs. I just never picked it up, but I went after a couple. And I know there's one guy in San Diego, what he would do, and his gimmick, his value add was that he would put a for sale sign in her property, sold by owner, for sale by owner, with his information on there. And as people called up, he would basically take the leads that weren't interested in her property, try to work them on another property, and the leads that he'd get them qualified before they'd go to her property. He basically had the listing, wasn't getting the commission, but he was the gatekeeper now for her property. So he didn't do any other marketing, he just basically did that sign. And that was his gimmick. And it was, I know I went to one property where he had a sign up already on the property like that. And I'm telling you, that's when you see someone else's sign, even if it's for sale by owner sign on that property, it makes a conversation talking to that for sale by owner a little bit more difficult. But that was his gimmick for sale by owners, right? So finding out what your niche and you can do it consistently. There's other people that for expired, they'll get packages, they'll make packages. I don't know if they still do it right with COVID, but they'll put package together for the expired. And as soon as the expireds come out in the morning, they would drop the packages off at the person's house, at their doorstep. Right? Now, if you get a package like that compared to a call, which one's going to be, more probably the package, right? So there's so many different ways of doing the business, and just, be careful to go down the rabbit hole that everyone else is doing, right? Because you're not like everyone else. Each one of us on this call, has a different flair of how they're going to run the business, of different flair of who they are in this business, different flair of how they talk, what they like doing. So understanding that. Make sense? Yes. Okay. Then one last note. I saw you guys putting here about Joe Girard. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the book, Joe Girard. There's another one. Have you guys heard of Eric Thomas? Eric Thomas. He's the inspirational rapper or something like that. I forgot how he words himself. But he gives this, one of his biggest speeches or best speeches when he first went in business is talking about this kid, right? That's all this affluent individual, right? This well-to-do individual. He goes, "Hey, I want to be like you." All right. The guy goes, "All right, well, meet me at the beach tomorrow morning." He comes all dressed up to the nines, ready to kind of make this thing happen, and he meets the guy at the beach. They start walking on the sand. He goes, "Follow me." And he goes, "Okay." Walks to the sand, starts walking in the water. He goes, "Follow me." The guy's, what are you doing? He goes, "Just follow me, follow me." They keep walking, keep walking, keep walking. Now they're getting to like neck deep right now. The guy grabs the kid's head and puts his head underwater, right? Now this kid's fighting. He's fighting to get out. He's trying to pull the guy's hand off. He's just fighting to get air, fighting to get breath, right? Finally, he releases him, right? He goes, "What the heck? What was that all about?" And he goes, "You have to want to succeed as much as you want to breathe in that moment." Right? So when you're on the call, when you're talking to someone, right, and they give you that no, right? I don't want to work with you. I don't want to talk to you. Right? Most people are going to give up, right? Because it's easier that way. It's easier to give up. Right? To give you an example, when you go to a store, right? And you go to a clothing store, you're walking in there, what's the question they ask? "Hey, can I help you find anything?" And if you guys say something different, I'm going to call you a liar. For the most part, people are going to say, "No, I'm fine." Even if in the back of your head, you might need help, we're trained to say no, right? I know it was, I think it was twice. I was at a clothing store, this is like a year or so ago, and they asked me, and I said, I kind of needed help. I didn't really know, but I was like, I'm just going to go. And so they asked me, and I said no. And then I think someone else asked me, and I still was on the idea of just saying no, because I was like, I'm going to find this myself. I'm going to do this. And then finally I'm walking. I'm like, I wish someone would ask me right now if I knew. And then I finally found someone to ask me. But that's just how we're trained. We're trained to say no. And by giving up, I mean, too early, you might have lost that ability to get that yes, right? Look at it like a funnel, right? Let's say you're competing with a lot of different realtors with the same client, right? I'll give you an example. This is a expired that I closed like summer, I think it was like summertime, right? I don't call a lot of expireds. I mean, I was just kind of, I just get back into it, and I got to balance that out more. But I closed this expired. I first got the first call, and they said, no, we're not looking to, she said, it was the wife. She goes, no, I don't think so. And then I go, are you sure with the value? She goes, well, actually, I think we are, but I think we already have one. All right. And I go, okay, no problem. Do you think it'd be, I mean, of your guys' best interest to make sure you're getting the most money possible? All right. She said yes. And I basically got the number for the husband, called the husband up, and he's like, I already have someone. All right. So I sent him a text, and I basically wrote some stuff in the text. He responded with another question. I responded back to that question. And then I basically said, I'm available this date or this date. He picked a date. I went to his property, met him at the property, got his property, the listing agreement signed that day on the first showing after only like 15 minutes. He goes, you know what? It was actually one of the easiest listing appointments I ever had. He's like, you know what? I can see that you're a salesperson. You didn't give up. Let's do this. Signed the agreement, got it sold. It was 1.2, I think, or 1.15 or something like that, somewhere around there. But there were so many points in that time that I could have just been said, oh, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to meet the guy. I mean, I was never going to, if he would have said no, I would have never met the guy. And what's the worst that he's going to say to me? I mean, you're an idiot, you're an asshole, I mean, whatever it might be. When you're having those conversations, right, every time they say no to you, you have to think, right, that there's another realtor that got to that point and they walked away, right? So getting past that no, right, you're going to a smaller funnel of people that actually got to that point, right? And the next point, right, you're going past the next line, and you're slowly getting to a point where no other agent has got to, because now your ability to get to the deal closed. That kind of makes sense? Yes? Okay. So it's 11 a.m. Let's take a like a 5-minute break. Does that work? 11 to 5? Perfect.
Hey, you called? Yeah.
Hey, Aida, you're not on mute.
How's it going, Melissa? How's it going, Melissa? You hear me? Oh, there you go. I got back. Perfect. All right. So let's get into, let's try this again. All right. So my fear of failure was greater than my fear of lead making. Does actually let me jump on this one right here. So going back to that quote right there, my fear of failure was more than my fear of lead generating. Have you guys already kind of assessed your big why? What pushes you to be in real estate? What pushes you to grow your business? Are you guys already thought about that? Yeah. Melissa, yes. Madison, yeah. RG.
What did you say? Can you repeat
your why? Have you already thought about what's your why? What pushes you in the business to kind of make the calls, kind of push forward, things like that? Yeah. Now, a lot of us, I mean, something to think about, a lot of us go away from the idea of fear then towards pleasure, right? If you guys, all power to you, if you're able to go to, I mean, pleasure more so than fear, right? Then all power to you. Just have that idea in your head. If you need to make that next call, go for that next deal, go for the overcome objections, anything like that, and figure out what's going to push you to make that other call. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. So putting it all together. So your action plan, prepare for your next class, recall, remember from ahas to achievements of the week, enhance your learning. This is the last slide. Oh yeah. Okay. So anything that you guys picked up throughout the class, I know kind of.
You mean with regard?
Yeah, just in general. Anything that you guys picked up, I know it was kind of weird to kind of jump into this spot right afterwards, but yeah.
I'll just jump in quick. I guess just being creative with how you reach out to people.
Yeah. Anything that any of you guys are curious about? I mean, prospecting wise, kind of going through stories of prospecting. I mean, anything went through really quick.
Well, I remember you said that when you started out, you were aversive to calling your own database. And
Yeah.
so I know that there's a great concentration on calling people you know. Although I'm curious outside of that, what are the steps a person takes to start not necessarily generating leads, but knowing what numbers to contact, what individuals, like do they look at an area and determine like a kind of precinct that they want to work in?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a lot of different data sets you call it there. So you can circle prospect, right? Circle prospecting, there's gonna be forms of it where it's like find a property that was recently sold in that community and say, hey, we just sold this property, our team just sold this property over on blah, blah, blah. It was this, and just wanted to reach out to neighbors like yourself to see if they've thought about selling in the near future. We got X amount of buyers off it, blah, blah, right? Whatever script you're gonna use. And then for the just listed, right, we have a upcoming property over on Main Street. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and we usually find neighbors like picking their new neighbors. So who do you know that's looking to buy in the neighborhood, right? So those are like the circle prospecting scripts. Then there's like the expired scripts that you can do, and you can do them off a generic area, or you can do them just all over San Diego County. You on those right there, I mean, you're trying to get their attention, find out why they're looking to sell, and then diving deeper on it, and then going for the kill. For sale by owner, is going to be another one where they're selling it themselves. They're usually going to pay basically a buyer's agent commission and not paying a listing agent commission. So for something like that, you're trying to, again, bring your value to them. And then, I mean, life event stuff, right? Where you're talking about death, divorces, I mean, weddings, I mean, foreclosures. There's less of foreclosures now, but you can go after those leads right there. And again, you can get creative with it. You find a wedding photographer, wedding planner, or divorce attorney, right? And you're trying to find different avenues to get in front of those different people.
I see. That's really good. Do you have that written down somewhere, or is that just kind of the pool of information you've acquired over experience?
Yeah, just over experience. Yeah. I mean, you can go to, I mean, if you ever, and I don't know how it is now, but you can go down to the county recorder's office. You can pull a lot of different information. I mean, if you wanted to, you could pull, like, I mean, divorce stuff, people that just got divorced and reaching out to them. I mean, you could pull people that are getting foreclosed on, people that have past due taxes. I mean, there's a lot of different platforms that you can pull, and if you get creative with it, man, you're gonna be maybe the first point of contact that you're gonna get in front of.
And you can get not only their name, but also their contact information from the county recorder.
You probably get the I think you get the address of it, and then there's different platforms you can use to get the phone numbers, or you can just mail them if you want.
You mean like you find the address, and by having the address, you look up whoever's living at that address, and then find their contact information on another service.
Yeah, there's
Effectively.
Well, even on
There's a-
My Plus Leads, there's a way to look up by putting in the address. If they're listed, their information will come up. I've done that before on the My Plus Leads platform that we all have access to.
Yeah, you can get some from there. I mean, you can. It's I mean, I pay for different platforms to get data from, but there's like what's the platform? There's like one that's like $30 a month, I think it is. It's like People Finder, I think it is. People Finder. Yeah, there's a People Finder platform where you can put someone's information in there. There's a lot of like online platforms you can spend a couple bucks to get phone numbers for people. So I mean, if you want to get creative with it, I mean, there's definitely ways to do it. It's just a matter of what you're going to do consistently over time.
My Plus Leads we all have access to, and it's not costing us anything. I would try there first.
Yeah, definitely. No, I would try there and venture out on My Plus Leads first, and then if you're not getting what you're looking for there, then try a different platform. Anything else? Any questions? No? Well, think of a question. I'll tell you this quick story. So again, I have a podcast called Road to Growth, right? All about overcoming adversity, right? So be careful when you're listening to realtors, right? Or people in our industry saying how great they're doing in this business. It's really easy to look people's numbers up, and not everyone's telling you what they're actually doing, right? The real truth of it. So don't be careful not to judge your insides by someone's outsides, if that makes sense, right? Because there's a lot of, you can be fairly easy in this business, because you got to think, I mean, a good year in this business, right, is what, 20 deals in San Diego County? That's a good year, right? And if you're talking about 20 deals for the year, I mean, there's going to be a lot of failure, right? Because there's going to be weeks you're not going to be getting, right? You're going to get objections, rejections, things like that, right? So in those low moments, right, especially if your business is going up and down, right, in those low moments, be careful not to listen to what's out there, right? There's been agents that I've seen posts on social media where they're talking about how great they're doing, how good they're doing, and how many deals they have, and you look them up and they haven't sold a deal, or they've only closed one deal, right? And you start, so just be aware of that. Like and so again, my podcast is about Road to Growth Overcoming Adversity, right? So there's an agent in San Diego County, not with our office, separately. And he was talking about that he was on a listing appointment. He was doing pretty bad at the time, that he owed money to different people. And at the listing appointment, he got his car towed, right? He came out there, and luckily the seller blamed it on neighbors, saying, oh, it was probably my neighbor that probably called because you parked in the wrong area or something like that, whatever it might be. But he got it towed because he wasn't making his payments on the property, making his payments on the car, right? And he said it was one of the most deflating times. Luckily, the seller was never the wiser of it, but he got back on his feet, kept pushing through, and was able to, close a lot more deals, and he does fairly good production now, right? There's so many stories of that out there, and you're not defined by the losses. You're only defined by those losses if you quit at those times, right? So when you get those rejections, right, when you're making those calls, right, and maybe you're not getting any leads, or they're telling you no, to leave me alone, right? Try to pick something up from those moments, right? And that's something that took me a while to actually understand. But every time I lose a listing, or every time I don't get that buyer lead, right, I try to assess, what can I take away from this? How can I change my system, right? So I don't lose that lead in the future. And over time, you start looking at it, you go, okay, well, I can change this, I can change this. Is it worth it to get that kind of lead in the future, right? So assessing that for every failure you have, every obstacle you overcome, change what you're doing so you can be stronger and better at it for the next time. That make sense?
Vinny, I have a question. Can the general public look up our sales numbers? Is that public information to everyone?
The easiest platform was Zillow, I think. You might be able to do it on HomeSnap too, but I don't know if it's as widely used. But Zillow, they've taken a lot of people's closed deals off of. And so I wouldn't really worry about that too much. But I think HomeSnap, but I don't know if it's as widely used for the public out there.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know if, like, when we're out there prospecting as a new agent, if our potential listings or sellers could look us up and see how many homes we've sold. I mean, of course, we're going to be honest, and if we haven't sold any, or if this is our first listing. But I'm just wondering if there's a way for the general public to do a background search on that for us, like our numbers.
There's always a will, there's a way. I mean, when I work with whoever, right? It can be a plumber, a contractor, it could be whoever, right? I'll Google their name. So just make sure, if you haven't done it already, make sure that you have some kind of website, if he's attached to KW, some kind of Google My Business page, some kind of online presence. And even I think that's more important than worrying about if they can look up your numbers.
Okay, great, thank you.
Anything else? Any of you guys want to go over? I know I kind of zoomed through everything. Anything else? Maybe? No? We're good?
I have a question.
Okay.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute. In scripts this morning with Steven, he was going over like FSBOs and things like that and the script around it. I personally know someone who wants, because I'm like, oh, great, you're going to sell your house. Who are you going to trust? Blah, 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 that whole, but they're like, oh no, I'm selling it myself. I don't need an agent. And Steven did go through overcoming the objections, but it's still sort of not canned, because he goes way beyond. I don't know if anyone else was in that class today, but it's more like, how do you, oh, he was breaking down the script. Oh, shoot, here it is. How you can tell them, oh, well, is it the commission or, well, a percent, breaking down, I can break it down for you. 1 goes to the broker, 1%, 2.5 goes to the co-op agent, 1.5 goes to marketing, and 1% goes to me, and I pay 40% to taxes, and the rest goes to feeding my family. But what if you get people that are like, so, I mean, if I sell it myself, I mean, he did talk about that objection too, with people are going to say, well, so what, then you're going to go, well, how can I'm going to show you how I can actually profit more for you. And he mentioned that, I can show you how much more I can bring in for you, but we didn't actually dig into it very much. And I could see that if you get someone with a FSBO and you get them to the point where they actually listen to you long enough to do the breakdown, I'm showing that, look, I'm really only getting 1% here. And I'm giving, what is your agent or the person that you're looking at or somebody else or yourself, like what is going to be missing here? Well, obviously, big company like Keller Williams, I can bring buyers to you. We've got tons of marketing, all that kind of stuff. But what if that doesn't work with them? Like, what if there's still the objection? Well, yeah, but it's 6%. And if I don't, there's such a big buyer's or a seller's market right now, I'm going to sell my house no matter what by myself, and I'm going to get what I want. Stephen didn't go on to addressing the fact of it being such a big seller's market right now. So how do you address that when you get someone's ear to that point?
Well, so you want to bring an idea, right? Okay. So I always say I can appreciate that. Right, that's the one line. Whenever someone says it, I say I can appreciate that, or just try to reaffirm what they're saying, right? And they say, okay, well, it's 6%. Well, reality is you already said that you're going to be paying a buyer's commission, right? Okay, perfect. So we're not talking about 6%. We're talking actually about 3%. Right? Talking about 3%, right? And yes, you're correct. In this market right now, any property is going to sell, right? Any property is going to sell, right? But you want to sell for the most money possible, right? Right? Perfect. Yeah. So you want to sell for the most money possible, right? Just like I would if I was selling my property, I would want to sell for the most money possible. So let me ask you this. If you had a garage sale right now, or I had a garage sale, right? I had a garage sale. And I bought a ring from a really nice jeweler, and I had the receipt with it, right? And selling it at the garage sale. Right? I bought it for $5,000, and you wanted to buy the ring. Now, would you pay me the $5,000, or would you want a deal?
A deal.
You probably want a deal, right? But I have the receipt, right? I have the receipt, and you want a ring, right? And you might buy it, right? But you're not going to pay me the full $5,000, right? And you know why that is? It's because that thin line between the salesperson and the seller, right? And just like when you sell a property, by not having that salesperson there, people think they're going to get a good deal. And I want to make sure that you're getting a good deal. So let me work for you and getting this property sold.
Okay. A good one.
That was really good.
I mean, it's if you have to assess it. Maybe they don't. I mean, there's people out there. There was a cold call I did a long time ago. But I still remember it because I was like so shocked by it. It changed the way I look at things. Right? We always think that someone wants the highest price possible. We always think that they want, most money in their pocket. If that's not the case for everyone. I mean, there's a guy that he was selling his property in, I think it was like Julian or something like that, or Alpine or something. And on the open market, and after paying fees like that, it was going to be a slam dunk. He was going to make like $130,000, right, after paying fees. And I was like, hey, we can do this. And he goes, no, I want a cash offer. I want to just be done with this property. I want to deal with pay realtor fees. Right? I'm like, okay. So we can do $90,000. He goes, perfect. I'll do that. So he was able to throw away what $40,000, right? Or $30,000, right? For waiting maybe a couple months on the market, right? Not that long, but he needed the money so bad that he was willing to give away that $30,000, right? Because he wanted the cash offer. So when you're talking to these for sale by owners, you're talking to these expireds, you're talking to whoever, right? Sometimes you have to throw common sense out the window, right? Find out what they're looking to accomplish. I mean, maybe they just want basically a quick cash offer, not to deal with anything, right? So just be careful not to bring your own stuff to the conversation. The same goes when you're dealing with a buyer, right? I use this analogy sometimes, but if you're doing a consultation, right, with a buyer, right, and they're telling you, right, that I want a big house, right? We can all hear the word big house and we have our own assumption of what that big house means, right? But unless we dive deeper into what they mean by a big house, what that feeling of the big house means. Is it a big house because they want space, they want to be separated from each other? Is it a big house because there's square footage they want, right? But by assuming something in the conversation, you're not getting the full picture of what they're actually looking to accomplish. Make sense? So asking the questions, allowing them to be the center of attention, right? I mean, I think Tony Robbins talks about it. He goes, most people come from the idea to be loved, to be heard, and wanting those kind of emotions, right? So it's a rarity that if you're coming from curiosity and they're open to you, that they're not going to tell everything that you need. Make sense? Any last questions? Anything else, guys? No? All right, man. Well, happy prospecting. Thanks for being on the class, and hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Vinny.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Good luck.
Bye.